Hello, my name is Matthew Gear, and this is my final technical presentation for the Capstone Class Fall 2018 Web Server Project. Child user stories for sprint number 3. As a super admin user, I want to have the fields for update a product to check for valid input, so that invalid data is not put into the product database. As a super admin user, I want to have the fields for add a product to check for valid input so that invalid data is not put into the product database. How we're accomplishing this is different for each field because the needs for each field are different. The type text was a text field, and we actually changed that to a drop-down box that only gives valid inputs as an option. The price field is handled by a regex that will only allow the user to enter in a dollar amount in the form of X period XX. The image upload is limited by type by JPEG, and PNG. And these methods are applied to both the add and update pages for the product database. In our diagram down here, we have a little state diagram that basically we're first going to check if there's 1 to 3 digits. Then we're going to check if there's a period, and then we're going to check and make sure there's 2 digits after the period. And that's going to be for the price regex. Another story for sprint number 3 is, as a super admin, I want to be able to press the delete button next to the product in the main product admin page so that I can delete products from the product database. The removal first checks that the user is the role super admin. If the product database is then searched for the chosen product assigned ID number, when it's found, it deletes the product from the product database. Next, it finds the image file that's assigned to the project and removes the image file from the file system. This function uses MongoDB and Mongoose. This is the decision diagram. We're going to check that it is logged in. If the answer is no, it's redirected to the discussion page. If the answer is yes, it goes and it checks to see if it's a super admin. If the answer is no, it's redirected to an unauthorized page. If the answer is yes, it deletes the product. We updated our use case for the main product page to include the deep product interface. So the super admin can now view, type, price, spec, image file, delete a product, and click the edit button to update a product. Sprint number 4 user stories. As an unregistered user, I want to be able to view product on the web store so that I can see what items are available. How we're accomplishing this: the web store is populated with all the items in the product database. The page also checks to see if the user is logged in or not. If the user is logged in to an account, the options for quantity, add cart, and go to the shopping cart are displayed in the proper places on the page. If the user is not logged in, there is a login button that directs them to the login screen to log in. So here's the decision diagram for this. We go to is logged in. If not, we go to display the login button. If yes, we display quantity box, add to cart button, and go to shopping cart button. Here's the use case for the store. We have view item, adjust quantity, add cart, and go to shopping cart for just the registered user. For the unregistered user, they can view item and log in. View item generalizes view type, view image file, view price, and view spec. Sprint 5 user stories. As a registered user, I want to be able to choose an item to add to the cart and select the quantity of that item so I can control what I'm adding to the cart. How we're doing this is we're adding to the shopping cart. First, finds the product in the product database and inputs the database entry into the product class. This product's items and then places it into a deserialized session of the shopping cart class by add function in the class. The processed is looped for the number that is in the quantity box. Second child user story. As a register user, I want to be able to see the items I have added to the cart in the shopping cart so that I can easily see what I've already selected. How we're doing this is after selecting an item from the store, the user is taken directly to the shopping cart, which is populated with a serialized products in the shopping cart class. Child story number 3, as a register user, I want to be able to remove items from the shopping cart so that if I added something by mistake, I can remove before purchasing. How we're doing this is after selecting an item to be removed from the shopping cart page, the past item ID is found in the product database. This database entry is stored as a new products class and passed to the remove function in the shopping cart class where the quantity of the item is decremented. Here's a use case for the shopping cart. You have to be a registered user to interface with the shopping cart. You can view item, which generalizes, view image file, view type, view price, view spec, remove item, check out, and go to the store. This is a use case diagram that concentrates on classes used by the web store. We have the app class, which is dependent on models and views. The models that we're using for the store are the product schema, which is dependent on the Mongoose API, the shopping cart, which is dependent on the product. The views we're using are the web store and the shopping cart, as far as the ones we've talked about so far. And then these are dependent on the partials. Continued user stories from Sprint 5. User story number 4. As a register user, I want to be able to press enter payment information so that I can choose how to pay. How we're doing this is the user is offered 3 payment options in a radial button format on the checkout page. After they make a selection, the payment choice is passed to the pay page where the user can enter the appropriate information based on their selection. This is done with JavaScript on the front end. User story number 5. As a registered user, I want to be able to see all the details of my order so that I can confirm the information is correct. How we're doing this is the order form, payment type, and shopping cart are passed to the finished page and displayed for the customer. This is done using JavaScript with the front end. User story number 6. As a registered user, I want to receive a receipt in my email so that I have a record of the transaction. How we're doing this is the confirmation order function creates a string value by looping through the shopping cart and adding the items in the shopping cart to it by line. It calls the empty function from the shopping cart to empty it and now builds the body of the email with this information and the get price total function found in the shopping cart class. It passes the body and user's email to the email template class and sends the email to the customer. This is the use case diagram for the checkout. The user can view the item as generalized by view image file, view type, view price, view spec, go to store, go to shopping cart, payment method, which extends credit card, PayPal, Bitcoin, and Pay. We have a decision diagram that has to do with the payment method. We go to the payment method and we can choose either credit card, Bitcoin, or PayPal. And based on that information, we ask if it's the credit card, we ask for the name of the card number, the card expiration, and the card CCV. If we chose Bitcoin, it asks for the Bitcoin wallet. If we ask for PayPal, it asks for the PayPal username and password. This is a use case for the payment information page. We enter payment information, which is generalized by the payment options that we just talked about in our decision diagram. And we enter the shipping information, which generalizes inner address, interstate, inner city, inner zip. We also have a button to finish page, go to the store, and go to shopping cart. We can view item, view payment information, view shipping information, confirm, go to store, and go to shopping cart. We're going to revisit our use case diagram and see these other things that we didn't talk about. We have in the views our other web pages, checkout, pay, finish pay, and confirm order. And in the models, we reference email template, which is dependent on the Node Mailer API. That has been my individual presentation for my final technical project. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day.